All right, so mistake number one that I see happen most often is that beginner singers bite off a little bit more than they can chew. What do I mean by that? They often will try to sing too loud and too high for what their voice is capable of doing. It's very similar to somebody walking into a gym for the very first time, picking up 50-pound dumbbells and trying to do bicep curls, right? You're just not going to be able to do it. And probably if you try to do it for too long, you're going to hurt yourself. The same thing goes for singing. You really don't want to add too much weight to your voice before your voice is strong enough to be able to lift that weight up. So the very best way to work through this mistake is to start lowering your volume and lowering your pitch. Those two main aspects that if you try to find that sweet spot where your voice is still comfortable, but is not straining to be able to hit the notes, then you're going to be able to see a lot more growth over time if you go about it that way. Also, a lot of people are very, very hesitant to go quieter. Well, why are they hesitant to go quieter? Because when they go quieter, their voice sounds weak. It sounds not like the end result sound that they want. And so they'll get a type of sound, or even a where it's cracking. And so it's totally a sound that you don't want to get. So they would much rather go But what they don't realize is that the first sound is actually much closer to a correct and healthy approach than the second sound. The second sound is going to do nothing but lead you down a road of frustration for a very long time, because you're going to be thinking that that's going to lead you to what you want in your voice. But at the end of the day, it's going to only worsen the problems that you're experiencing. This is why a lot of singers are stuck at the same place, or even worse, after singing for so long, because they're embedding the same bad habits into their voice and they're never really uprooting them. So really, you got to go to that uglier sound, that sound that may not be so appealing. Do that for an extended period of time and feel out that release that you can get. If you want to sing with more confidence and power, then you have to sign up for my lesson subscription. You get 2 group lessons with me personally every single week. You get access to all my courses, and you get access to recordings of all my one-on-one lessons with my students. That will help you learn vicariously through them. Click the link down below to sign up now. The next mistake that I notice a lot of beginner singers making is that they will allow their larynx to rise as they move up in their range. Now, this can create a lot of issues for the voice. So the remedy for this, the way to fix that issue, is to allow a little bit of a dopier sound to come into your singing. Now, again, this is going to be something that a lot of people are going to run away from, because they're going to listen to it and they're going to say, oh my God, that's a really bizarre, weird sound. Hi guys, dopey sound is really weird. But it also is going to give you so much more relaxation in your throat at the bridge area. Now, this is where a lot of people get confused, is that they'll put that dopiness throughout their entire range, even down here in their range. And we don't want to, because down there, naturally, your voice already goes a little bit dopey. So you don't want to add dopiness to compound the issue. You want to try to, as you go lower, actually sing with a little bit of a raised larynx. So, find more presence down there. And then as you go higher, you want to find a little bit of a lowered larynx. So we're literally doing the opposite of the direction we're going. You're going higher in your voice, lower your larynx. You're going lower in your voice, raise your larynx. So what I want you to try to practice is where you feel like your voice is wanting to transition from that lower voice, that lower register, your chest register, up into your higher register, from ah to ah. We want to try to allow a little bit of a dopey sound to come into the voice. And the way that we do that is focus on creating that dopiness. So let's take it on a mum. So let's say you're going mum, 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 mum. Down there, totally fine to be, normal larynx. We don't want to go mum, 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 mum. We don't want to do that. But as we're moving up, mum, 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 mum. Can you find a little bit of that dopiness? So what most people would do up there is mum, 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 right? And then if we take that up even higher, mum, 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 mum. So what we want to do is, instead of that sound, we want to go mum, 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 mum. That keeps that dopiness in there. It's going to make everything feel so much more relaxed and chilled out in the throat. It's not going to feel like you're lifting so much weight up high. And that's because we're literally allowing the larynx and the throat to relax a lot more. And the reason why we do it at this bridge range where we're going up into the place where our voice shifts is because right around there is where the larynx wants to rise. So we're counteracting that natural tendency. The next most common mistake that I see a lot of beginner singers do is that they will lift their chin as they sing for higher notes. So this is something that can be very easily corrected in front of a mirror. So I highly recommend standing in front of your bathroom mirror and watching yourself as you go through a scale. Any scale. Just ah, 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 ah. If you see anything like that, you know you're in good company, number one. And number two, that you really need to adjust a few things. One thing, we always want to make sure that the chin stays level, that the eyes don't travel upwards. So even if our gaze just goes upwards, it's signaling to the brain that we have to reach for those notes and that they're somewhere up there. And as soon as the brain starts to think that something is up there, it starts to tighten muscles to be able to reach for those notes. We don't want to do this. We want to try to keep everything very level, and we want to try to avoid lifting the gaze upwards so that we force the throat to tighten. We want to try to keep everything as straight across or even downwards a little bit with your gaze at least. Imagining those notes are on the floor can really help to deal and grapple with this main problem and mistake that comes up for a lot of people. So now try it like this. Ah, 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 and see if that doesn't improve some of the problems that you're running into with your neck rising up too high. I mean, even in just listening to this sound, you can easily hear how this is not a very good sound to have in the throat. There's just too much tension for it to ever become relaxed, reliable, and constriction-free. It's just not going to happen. But again, this is something that requires a little bit of trust in yourself, in the way that you're approaching it. And a lot of people don't want to trust what their bodies can do, and they'd much rather do the things that they feel are going to get them the results that they want and not try to suspend their disbelief, go to a sound that is different or a feeling that is different, and then really find the true source of good singing practice. You know, the definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. And that's what a lot of beginner singers are doing, is that they're trying to just hammer away at the exact same approach and just not allowing themselves to try something different, try something that's not going to sound good, not going to be that end result that they want, but might get them a step closer. At certain points, you're going to have to get a little bit worse before you start to get better. And I want you to keep that in mind as you're working through your singing journey. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please hit the like button down below. If you want to see more videos like this, you can check out that one right there. I know you're going to like that one, so click it.